As many of you will know, for the last year, I've been doing research into the social and psychological reasons that lead some fathers to abandon their children, to become deadbeat dads. And I've been really trying to figure out what has added to this issue of fatherlessness. And in order to do this, I've had to go and find research because whilst I've been writing a book about these social and psychological reasons, I've also been at university looking and doing a research and counseling paper on a similar topic. And so I've had to find loads of, when you do a dissertation and research and counseling, you have to go and find, you have to do something called a literature review, which means you have to basically go and find every piece of literature that currently exists on the topic. And there is a really interesting study which was done by the Department of Work and Pensions, which I reference in the book. And I wanted to read you some things from it because I think it's really important. And there's some things in it that it talks about that I think might help you understand why this issue of fatherlessness and really why some fathers are not able to maintain their relationship with their children. So the aim of this study was to identify how separated and separating fathers, in particular younger and less affluent fathers and those from BAME communities, could be positively influenced to work together with the other parent in the best interest of their children, what is now classified as collaborative parenting, and to be able to access support services where possible. The key objectives were to identify what fathers feel constitutes working together with the other parent is, and to identify the key barriers which prevent collaboration and the accessing of support services. The first phase of the research was the first phase of the research was to conduct a review of the existing literature on the barriers facing separated fathers. The review showed that this area is currently under researched, hence why I wanted to do research on it. So one of the reasons I wanted to do research, because I couldn't find a lot of research on why the psychological reasons and why fathers abandon their children. There was loads of research on what the effects of children being abandoned, the impact on the mother and on society, like for example, kids who grow up in a household with a single parent down the road end up being able to go into poverty much easier. Okay, so where was I? The review showed that there is currently, this area is under research. However, a number of barriers to co-parenting in general have been identified, including relationships, emotions, attitudes, values and beliefs, intentions and practical issues. Similarly, a number of reasons why separated parents do not access services have been identified, including emotional and practical barriers and stigmatization. Hence why I try to explain in the book that one of the reasons we have many more Black fathers who are absent fathers, and there is a bigger issue of fatherlessness in the Black community, is because of stigma. You know, a lot of Black people don't trust systems. They don't trust that they're going to be looked after. They don't even, and there's a lot of stigma around asking for help, going outside of our race and talking to people who are not Black. You should be going to church. You should be praying and God will solve it. That kind of stuff comes up a lot. And so in order for a man to go to early help, in order for him to go to a family solicitor, in order for him to fill out a C-100 form, or to get a parenting order, he would need to go and ask someone who is outside of his race and culture many times in order to get that support. So where was I in this? Including similarly, previous research also shows that fathers are less likely than mothers to access existing services, and there is evidence to suggest that fathers' needs are not addressed by those services. Young fathers and fathers from BAME communities are the least likely groups to access support, hence why I've just said that. Following on from the literature review, 8 focus groups were conducted to explore the barriers that separated fathers in disadvantaged communities And what came up was that four structured topics were discussed: values and beliefs, working together, support services, and barriers that exist in developing and maintaining a good relationship with their child and the child's mother. Okay, so let's read through this. One of the key topics considered by the groups was fathers' perceptions of their role as a father and the importance of collaborative parenting. It was evident throughout the study that fathers in the groups that the fathers in the groups have a strong desire to be involved in their children's lives and upbringing. They feel that this involvement should compromise various contributions, including emotional, educational, and practical support. Financial support was a more contentious issue. While fathers tend to accept that they had a financial responsibility, genuinely they did not trust the mother to use their contributions to support the child. The importance of both parents working together as a team for the benefit of the child was often emphasized. Even though the current relationship with the mother was genuinely poor, the fathers consistently reported that they wanted a positive and constructive relationship with the mother in the future and saw this as a goal to work towards. However, on the whole, the fathers in the groups were unable to translate these positive attitudes into behaviors. They described a cycle of disengagement from fatherhood. The initial components of this cycle were the negative aspects of their own psychological condition, such as low self-esteem, low confidence in their ability to be a good dad. Consequently, they felt unable to engage effectively and productively in a relationship with their child and their mother, or to find appropriate support. This then led to increased frustration and conflict and negatively impacted an already fragile self-esteem. Fathers with negative psychological issues are likely to need support, either to help them directly, having a second benefit for the relationship with the child, or to facilitate their relationship with the mother. Where was I? With the child and the mother. However, for many fathers, this appears to be a major barrier, and much of the support that is focused on fathers and their specific needs is seen as lacking, especially in comparison to the amount of support that is available for mothers. Where support is available for fathers, it may not be visible enough. Some men may also feel that seeking advice and support may reflect badly on them as a person or as a father. This lack of support and advice, exacerbated by the perceived discrepancy between the support available for mothers and fathers, may then lead to feelings of frustration, conflict, and isolation. Additionally, a father may feel that the only valued contribution to his child's upbringing is financial, but he wishes to contribute more broadly. When the father feels that he lacks support or knowledge or is in a difficult financial situation, this has negative psychological consequences, fueling feelings of low self-esteem, low confidence, and this increases conflict with the child's mother and can lead to a reduced contact with their child, and so the cycle continues. I'm going to actually stop there. Because already I've talked a lot about a lot of things, but I just wanted to say these things because it's not, what I basically wanted to say in this is, it's not that the fathers don't want to see their children, but it's like there are barriers in the way. There are barriers that, unfortunately, systematically, we've not built things around in Britain to be able to support men with. Like, for example, stigma, which we're doing our best to try and remove stigma in Britain. We're doing our best to try and educate black men in hard to reach cohorts. But it's things like this that add to that issue of fatherlessness.